everybody. Thank you for watching Muse Live. We are back. We are live, Muse TV, and we got a great week coming. Well, actually, a great month. SharkFest on National Geographic has just started. It started on Monday, and we have a great show coming up, Shark Attack Files, which is this Monday, July 12th at 9 p.m. And we got one of the people, a part of the show, Carlee Jackson. Carlee, what is it like to be a part of this and to be working with National Geographic on the show?
Yes, it's just really cool. It's my first time doing anything like this, being on TV, doing shoots like that, and I'm just really excited to see how it's all put together because we did a lot of work with the shoot, and I'm just excited to see for you guys to see all this cool science that we talk about.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm a science geek, so I went to technical high school. So this is all up my alley, and I love this.
Cool.
A little bit about your background is that you're a marine biologist, you're a shark conservationist, and also you're a marine turtle specialist. What has it been like to apply everything that you've learned in college to be in now this TV show and really to show the world something that maybe they never learned or something they've never seen in while in school or even just in real life?
Yeah, it's very surreal because this is, something that I've always thought about, or you can even say dreamed about. Just loving sharks at a young age and then being able to do research with them, and then finally actually being able to show research on TV. And it's just been really cool to go through this whole process, and also means a lot to me being a Black woman being on this show because I didn't have any representation when I grew up, so I couldn't really see myself in this position. But now I'm here, and hopefully, other little Black girls like me can actually see themselves in this position.
Exactly. And that's really that's a great part and a great emphasis, because we do need to see more, especially when it comes to STEM and science and technology. We need to see more representation in that field.
Exactly. Yep.
And I agree with you on that. So tell us a little about the show and your involvement in the show and Shark Attack Files.
So Shark Attack Files is about their going back through different shark attacks that have happened, and then kind of going into maybe like either why the attacks happened, or just going into the different behaviors of the shark. So the whole series is based on looking at different behaviors that sharks show. And what my role was, being the scientist and going and investigating some of these different behaviors. So we're going to be seeing some really cool species that it was my first time being in the water with them, or just my first time working with them, being around them. And it'll be a lot of fun and a lot of cool stuff to learn.
Very cool. And that's what I'm excited about. I like learning new things, especially about species, especially when it comes to global warming and how it affects animal life on our planet. Because I think there's a lot of people who are climate deniers, and they don't realize that a lot of the issues that are happening, and if we lose a species, I should say, like the sharks, I mean, it affects a lot of issues. And how would, just a quick question on this is, how does shark attacks and equate really with global warming, especially with feeding and lack of food?
So I will say I'm not like an expert on like shark attacks or anything, but I do know that with global warming, we'll get sharks moving from different areas. So their migrations usually happen when there's a change in the season, and usually a cue from that change in the season is temperature. So if those temperatures are changing a lot more quickly than they used to, then these migrations can happen earlier. They could migrate to different areas, and that usually means, there's going to be more sharks in an area, or more sharks in an area at a random time, that there might be like more people in the water. But yeah, I would say that sharks aren't out to really eat people at all. But and I don't think that it's like they're losing food, so now they're going after people. It's just the fact that there's more sharks coming to an area that there usually weren't a lot of sharks. So now the probabilities of getting bit by a shark kind of just go up for people in that area now.
Yeah. And I think how movies have represented the shark species for years
Yeah.
has really affected the way people think of them. How hard is it for you to like sometimes break that knowledge base for some people that no, what you see on screen and sometimes what you see on TV is not what the species actually lives like or acts like.
Right. Yeah. It's like people are always like, oh, aren't they gonna bite you or like attack you? And I just show them videos of myself in the water with wild sharks. I'm like, this shark wasn't trying to attack me, and I have all my limbs, so I'm good. And I just try to get people to understand that sharks are just predators in the water, and if you get into the ocean, like you're going into their territory and their home. So, they're going to be there. But also that sharks are just very like majestic animals, and they have a important role in our ecology of our oceans. And, they're not out to get you. And like I said, I usually just show pictures of me in the water with sharks. I'm like, look, it didn't attack me. I came out unscathed.
Exactly, and that's the thing that like people need to see and people need to learn about. So after we could keep them, we could keep our oceans alive and keep our oceans
Right.
healthy. One thing I do want to touch about too is about with your work with turtle conservation, turtle work with that. The one thing that we've seen around is trash going into the ocean, and if you go to any YouTube channel, you can see marine biologists who actually help save turtles, and you see them with plastic and plastic bags and everything. How can you tell the audience about the importance of recycling and the importance of keeping those type of items out of the ecosystems after seawater, freshwater, seawater turtles actually get to survive and they don't have those type of elements to face?
Yeah, the plastic is just such a huge problem in our ocean. It's just like, I think they said plastic doesn't even degrade. It just like goes into smaller pieces. So like the first piece of plastic to enter the ocean is probably still in the ocean somewhere, which is crazy. But that's why it's really important to properly recycle your plastics and reduce the use of single-use plastics. So just have more reusable plastic bags, like the grocery bags that you can carry that aren't plastic, and having steel straws, or just not no plastic silverware or anything like that. And because things like that unfortunately they do enter our oceans, and it can just provide all types of issues for sea turtles, especially plastic bags. The way plastic bags float in the water, a sea turtle can't really tell if that's a jellyfish or if it's a plastic bag because they've never seen a plastic bag. So they go to eat it because they think it's jellyfish. And the way that they're designed, they can't regurgitate things. So once they like are eating it, so it's kind of stuck. They got to just commit, unfortunately, to that plastic bag. And that is just horrible for their digestive system. It can basically make them feel full when they're not full, and they'll just stop eating, and that's just detrimental to them. And also for our baby turtles, little hatchlings, when they go out and they're in their area that they're eating for a couple years to try and get really big, there's a lot of microplastics that they encounter because on the area that they're feeding, there's a lot of plastic that can kind of just develop, and they can't really tell the difference between a little shrimp or a little piece of plastic. So the previous place that I worked at, we had a lot of rehabilitated, we call them post hatchlings. So hatchlings went out into the water and then they got washed back in because they were too weak. And in every single one of them, their little bellies were filled with plastic. So it's just kind of re-emphasizing how important it is to recycle your plastics, and just overall like just reducing your use of single-use plastic. It's not, it's not possible to just completely take it out of your life, but just doing your part and trying to do your best to reduce the use and recycle is definitely good for our oceans and our sea turtles.
Exactly, and that's one thing that I'll have a couple questions left. How do you think of the importance of companies like National Geographic to help with the fact that the global, not only the knowledge of global warming, their history of showing animal life, natural essences of what would occur if in the long term with global warming. They really have been the the conservationists for a lifetime right now.
Right.
What do you think is the importance, and is there will always be an importance for companies like National Geographic to be showing and making sure that people know and the knowledge of our land and our earth?
I think it's so important because just one, National Geographic does a good job of telling the stories of different animals and having, I think just showing those stories and showing those animals kind of helps people relate to them a little bit more, or maybe not relate is the word, but just they're more knowledgeable about the animal now. They know that it exists and that it's important to the environment. And also just throwing in the facts of climate change and everything. Some people just have no idea about climate change because maybe I don't know, they just, aren't in that field, or they just don't have friends that like talk about it that much. So not everyone really knows how bad our climate change is, and they're not properly informed on it as well. And I think that it's very important for companies like National Geographic to get those messages out there and to educate the public, because, I think that once people know like how bad it really is, they'll start trying to take some action, or at least they'll be more aware. I think just getting the awareness out there is what we really need right now.
Very cool. Well said. I mean, that's amazing. Lastly, Carlee, if people on Muse TV want to follow your work, follow your experiences on social, or if you have a website, can you please tell them how they can follow you?
Yes, you can follow my personal Instagram, which is at Carlee. That's with two E's, so Carlee, and then the letter M, and then J _. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter using those same handles. Then you can also follow my organization. I always got to plug my organization, Minorities in Shark Sciences, at Miss _Elasmo, and we're both on Instagram and Twitter.
Awesome. And one more question, because you just brought up your organization. Tell us a little bit more about your organization as well.
Yes, I love talking about MISS. So Minorities in Shark Sciences, I co-founded last summer with 3 other Black women shark scientists after we virtually met each other. And it was our first time seeing another Black woman shark scientist. And we all had the same reaction, like, what? I was the only one. I thought I was the only one. So we got together, created Minorities in Shark Science, and our whole mission is to break down the barriers preventing people of color, and even more specifically women of color, from entering the field of shark science. So we have a membership program where we have over 300 women of color that are interested in shark science in various career stages. And it's a place where it's a safe space for women of color to talk about anything, collaborate, exchange resources, and we also provide resources to them as well. We have internship programs, educational programs where we provide free experience getting into shark science, or free educational courses. And we're only a year old, but we have lots more planned. And it's been really cool and really fun as well, just helping these other women of color. And I wish I had this organization when I was coming up I'm still technically coming up, but as a undergrad, or when I was in high school. It's a very valuable organization, because we need this in the shark science field, and in just marine biology in general, to make it more accessible to those who wouldn't otherwise have access to this. So
that you're doing some great work, and even though you say that you're just barely starting, you've done a lot already.
I have to keep reminding myself sometimes.
Where you're at. You've done some amazing work, and we're going to put the links for your organization, etc. If people if they're looking for internships or anything through any of the college students who do watch the channel, etc. If they're marine biologists or studying in marine biology, to apply and really help your organization. We'll put a link down there and all the links for everything. And just to remind everybody, Shark Attack Files premieres this Monday at 8 Central on National Geographic, so you won't miss it. We'll put the link down there as well. Carlee, thank you so much for being a part of MUSE TV. Really appreciate it. Keep up the amazing work, and to get more minorities, especially in science. The work you're doing is something that was well needed, and we need to change things now. So keep up the amazing work.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. And we'll see you next time here on MUSE TV.